Good morning, everybody. So today we shall proceed with lesson 3, which we started in our physical class week. And if you can recall, we spoke about the basic things and where I mentioned the fact that by the end of this lesson, you should be able to write a reflection note on internet, intranet, and extranet. You should be able to perform basic operations in web browsers and electronic mails. So we picked the first aspect, that was last week, and we were able to talk about brief evolution of the internet, okay, from the birth of the internet to what we now have today, which is the World Wide Web. We talk about some basic things on the evolution of it and what we have today, and some advantages of internet in teaching. We made mention of all this that has to do with access to vast amount of information, online resources, collaboration and communication, personalized learning, flexibility, global community formation, and remote education. And as we have advantages, we also have some disadvantages, including distraction and procrastination. Quality and credibility of the information can be doubting. You can have false information out there. Then the privacy concern and security threats to your money, to your data, and people commit a lot of crimes using the internet. Let's also talk about the online harassment where you can be bullied and you can also bully somebody, which may affect personal life and especially mental health. So we also say that the use of technology can also make people to be dependent on technology in the sense that they may not be able to carry out their daily activities unless they have their phones around or their computers around. They also have some teachers that are not trained to use this technology, and especially we talk about the technology divide where some people will not have access to it while others will have. Then we started some tech terminologies on internet like browser, search engine, protocols, World Wide Web, and IP address. When we continue, we talk about the domain name like that of ABU module or NetDA or ABU homepage, web page, website, all this kind of thing, homepage of a website. We talk about this in our last class. So I'm just refreshing at a quick space. They also have the URL, the unique, the uniform resource locator, the telnet, the remote login, where you can be in a place and be controlling your computer at home, then the FTP, the transfer, the gopher, and so on. Then I gave some of these questions for you to look through it, which I want to believe by now you were able to check these questions and perhaps you try to attempt these questions on your own. They're very important for you. Take note of that. All right. So I think we also talk about connecting to the internet. Yes, we did in our last class where we talk about single access using a server or multi-server like that of ABU. And we still keep our promise that you are going to visit the ABU server room maybe in a week or from now. So there's some things that you need to connect to the internet. We also mentioned them like the modem, the telephone software, the VSATs, and so on. And then the hypertext and things related to the connection. So also web browser is also something that is necessary for you to connect to the internet. Okay. Then we also mentioned some uses of browser where you gave me a long list of what to use browsers to do, and some of them are also what I've repeated here. Now, this morning, we shall look at intranet and extranet. So from the word intra, that is talking about within, okay? Like intra-class or intra-house, within intra-university, within a university. And when you talk about extra, you are talking about without, okay? That is to say between one or two different things together, all right? So intra is within, while extra is without, from outside, okay? Take note of this. And then what we have covered was the internet that covers both within and without. So intra is within, And when we now say intranet, we are talking about restricting access of internet within a particular organization. Okay? So within what? A particular organization. Let me give you a brief example before we talk about some of the things in the note here. When you are on OBU campus, when you are on ABU campus, especially in the library, when in the key library, you have access to some resources within the library because you are in the library. So you can use their computer, you can access a lot of things using their own computers. But by the time you move out of ABU library, you find that some of these access will be taken away from you. That is because the internet service provided in the library is an example of an intranet, is within. We also have in the banks, when you enter any of the banks, like somebody mentioned GT Bank the last time, the one on campus, when you get into that bank, you will find that all the computers within that bank, they are communicating with each other. Somebody will be attending to you and then send the document from print at a printer, which is a distance away from the person. The person will just go there and pick up the paper. You understand? So that is within the bank. By the time you move outside of the bank, this kind of facility will not be available again. So intranet, it has to do with provision of access to the internet using what? Within an organization. All right. So we have some characteristics of the intranet, like openness. It is built on open internet architecture, just like we have it in the internet. It is easy to use. You see, it utilizes World Wide Web for user-friendly access, and then it is low cost. It is cost effective. So it's you can have a minimum license fee and so on, which is just within your organization, and it is flexible. You can make a lot of customization to the service. Again, something that comes to my mind is the software we use for processing your exam. Okay, the software we use for processing your exam. This is within the university. By the time you move out of the university, especially the old version, now we have a newer version that is using internet. Okay, the old version, which is just within the organization, that one is intranet. That is Logic 2.0. We now have 4.0 now. That one, it has moved to internet. But the previous one we used, it was intranet. That is why we can only compute your result when we are in the exam office. So, but with the coming of the 4.0 now, if somebody installed the logic on his laptop, the person can have access to your exam result outside the university. Okay, so and you can scale it up, meaning that you can start small and then expand it. So from intranet, you can move up to extranet, or you can move up to internet. Like a good example is that of your Logic 3.0 and Logic 4.0 I just mentioned. Initially, we used 3.0, which is only restricted to be accessible when you are on ABU campus. But with 4.0 now, you can install it on your laptop and take it elsewhere to use. All right. So then it accommodates new technology seamlessly. So we have some advantages of the intranet. There is worldwide accessibility. There is consistent user interface where you can consistently use the data you store in you can retrieve from the server and you can store something in the server consistently. And the user interface is very easy to use. So we also have the multimedia handling where you can deal with some multimedia data. You can upload, you can upload some videos, you can retrieve some videos, you can upload some pictures and stuff like that. All right. Then we also have document exchange. This is what they do a lot in the bank where they exchange document. Okay, in some hospitals, even in fact, again, when you go to sick bay, for instance, I think now they have adopted the technology where the doctor will be talking to you. In fact, right from where you pick up your card, they only give you one number. That is your card number. They may not give you your physical card this time around. They only give you a number which is written on your paper. So that number, when you get to the doctor, you give the paper to the doctor, and doctor will enter the number on his computer. Then it will bring out your details to the doctor. They will ask you some questions, and there's any recommendation for drugs. The doctor will recommend some drugs and then give you another slip, then ask you to go to pharmacy to collect your drugs. By the time you get to the pharmacy, you just give that number to the pharmacy will enter it and then saw the report from the doctor and the recommendations given to you by the doctor. So this is happening within that sick bay. By the time you leave the sick bay, that provision is no longer there. So the technology that make it work like that is what we call the intranet. All right. So it is easy to exchange information when you are using the intranet. So, and not only restricted to that, you can access the internet too. Okay, then it is also give a kind of open standard where it supports open standard for flexible expandability, which can, like we said, can be scaled up or scaled down as the case may be. And there is low administration cost. Okay, the cost of setting up is not that much as setting up a whole internet that covers a wide area of a wide geographical area. They talk about and the platform is independent. Yes, like I mentioned. So it is independent. What is happening in the hospital on the computers within the hospital is independent from what is happening in the bank. For instance, GT Bank on campus, the same geographical area, but different intranet is set up for them. So what is happening in GT Bank is quite independent from what is happening in the hospital, because that is what intranet is all about. All right. So there are some drawbacks. Of course, we must acknowledge the fact that there is performance limitations. So it is limited to what you have and what you are doing within your organization, and so the speed with which it can work is limited to that particular organization. Then this limitation can be influenced by various factors, such as the network traffic, the bandwidth constraints, the hardware that you put, or the software efficiency and the distance between the computers. Okay, if the computer is far away from the printer, the printer actually use wireless to connect. Quite a number of the printers that they use in the banks, they are connected through wireless. So if the distance is too far, then you may not the printer may not be able to catch up what is sent from the computer using the internet. Okay, so this is very important. And then we also have some kind of presentational issues where issues that involve challenge related to visual and interactive aspect of the interface. Because it is customized, then it may not be as professional as when you have the internet. All right. Then there are some common issues like browser compatibility. Yes, this is very important. For example, in exam logic, there are some browsers that the exam logic will not work well with. Maybe you have visited some places and they ask you have to use Mozilla or you have to use Microsoft Edge. They will dictate the kind of browser you are going to use because the particular software that they use to build that intranet may not be compatible with other browsers. So they also have some kind of responsive design where the design is a bit responsive, like maybe it is not giving you it is not communicating with you as fast as you want. Then the user interface, the design may also be awkward at times, depending on how much you pay. Like that of Logic 2.0. If you compare with Logic 4.0 now, you will see the difference in designs, the far away difference in the interface. So then multimedia compatibility, some of them will not allow you to upload more than maybe 2 MB of a video or a text. They will give you specification on what you are going to do. Then you also have accessibility. As soon as you leave that organization, you are not able to access the data if that particular data is stored on an intranet server. So it is only within that particular area or within that particular organization or within that particular department, okay, or within that particular library or within that particular hospital. So by the time you move away from that hospital or from that library or from that university, you will not be able to access it. So this accessibility problem is always there for intranet. So now, what about the extranet? Okay, this is very important. We said that the intranet is within an organization, right? What about extranet? By definition or by language, in a literal sense, you will say without or outside of that organization. Let me give you this tip. Your university portal, your student portal, you observe that you can access your portal whether you are on campus or whether you are not on campus. Very good. But the data for that your portal is stored on ABU server. And that's why when ABU server is down, you will not be able to access your portal. Do you understand? Whenever your ABU server is down, you will not be able to access your portal. So that means the powerhouse that store your data for your portal is on ABU campus. But you can still be at home. In fact, you can be abroad and access your portal. So that means ABU has given you limited access to what is hosted on their campus. You have what we call what? Limited access. And that's why you need a username and a password. So with that, you can easily peep into what is on ABU server, do whatever thing you want to do at a limited stage, and then move away. So that particular infrastructure that allow you to access data of another company at a limited range is what we call extranet. Do you get this now? Unlike the internet, where you can just browse anything and then anything will come for you. You don't need any password to log in to visit ABU website, for instance, because that one is internet. You don't need any password to visit the Nigerian Ministry of Education website. No password is given to you. All right? So that one is on internet. But by the time you need a password to access anything from another person's server, then you are operating on what we call extranet. Okay? So it's a business-to-business intranet enabling control, secure access between companies, intranet, and authenticated remote what? Remote users. So that's why you need username and password. You must be authenticated. And in fact, some people will give you two-way authentication. After you enter your username and your password, a code will be sent to your phone or to your email before you can finally get in. So that is what we call two-way authentication. Do you get this now? All right. So extranet, it works by giving a user by giving a user a kind of password, a username and password to be able to access at a limited range. This is also happening to some of us on campus. As a staff of a university, Ahmadu Bello University in particular, you have your username and your password as a staff, in which you can use that to log into ABU server and be able to see information about yourself, like the course you teach, like your pay slip, like this, like that, your bio data, and so on and so forth. That is as a staff. But if you are an examination officer, you have a different access that will allow you to see how many students register for a course, how many students register for a receipt, how many students have paid the school fees, they give you special access because you are an examination officer. If you are the HOD of the department, you now have a different access where you can log into the portal, you can look at all the staffs you have in your department, and you can assign courses to all your staff in your department, so you have a bigger access. So all these things are built on what we call extranet. If you log in as an ordinary staff, you have limited access. If you log in as an examination officer, you have a better access than that of an ordinary staff. And if you are the HOD, if you log in as HOD, you have a better access than ordinary staff than an examination officer. And if you are the dean, you have access to all the departments within your faculty if you log in as the dean. So this is what we are saying when we talk about what extranet. For some of you, you wrote JAM before you get into Ahmadu Bello University. JAM will give you username and password. So by the time you log in username and password, you have some access to data from JAM. You will see JAM change of course, JAM your notification for admission. You will see, you will get access to data from JAM server. So that particular infrastructure that allows you to do that is what we call extranet. Take note. Then, so I think I've given you lots of examples, even more than what you have here. So they give you access to get something from them in real time, and then you move on with that. So then there's also authentication. You need username and password so that they can control what you can do. All right. So this is what we call the extranet. So basically, we spoke about the internet, and then we spoke about the intranet, and then we spoke about the extranet. So in about 30 minutes from now, I want to catch up with what we call the electronic mail. All right. What is electronic mail? quite a number of you, yeah, you are familiar with electronic mail, and I think at this point I can have an activity. Let's see. Let's have a small activity. Group one.
Um, electronic mail can be used to apply for job. Like you can use it to send your
What is your
resume.
name? What is your name?
My name is Muhammad Zainab.
Okay. Two uses of email address. Say that again.
Electronic mail, you can use it to apply for job. Like you can use it to send your resume. Then again, you can use electronic mail for communication between you and your teachers. You can use it to like send or submit your assignments, then communicate with your classmates.
Excellent. Thank you. Now let's go to group two. Speak your name and then you tell us the two uses. Group two. Group two. Okay, let us go to group three.
And good morning, Sam.
Good
This
morning.
group too.
Go
Moses
ahead.
Milton Magdalene. Okay, electronic mail can be used to save important documents such as our credentials, and it can be used to receive OTP.
Yeah, receive OTP. Nice one. Excellent. Thank you very much. Now let's go to group three.
Good
Group
morning,
three,
sir.
go ahead. Yes.
My name is Jennifer Chidima.
Go ahead. We can hear you.
Emails can be used for research collaborations within companies, and they can also be used to send out newsletters and also receive subscriptions, and they can also be used for online payment and different things.
Thank you very much, Chidima. Okay, now we go to group four.
Good
Group
morning,
four.
sir.
Good morning.
Good
Your
morning,
name?
sir. My name is Ibrahim Ahmad. So, my name is Ibrahim Ahmad, sir.
Yes, go ahead.
So, one of the uses for electronic mails is self-documentation. People use email themselves to save some important notes like passwords or reminders. So, the second one is secure digital identity. Email is essential for two-factor authentication. Like we connect two-factor authentication with our Facebooks and some other applications to secure our password, and email is responsible.
All right, so we spoke about electronic email, and thank God in the activities they all pass through, you discuss electronic email, and at the same time, you also bring some uses of electronic email. Excellent. So, what is email? By definition, it is a tool for sending messages between computer users. So, messages are stored by a host computer until accessed by the recipient. So if you are using Yahoo Mail, Yahoo company will be the one that will host your email. They will be the one that will store your data. So all the email messages you are sharing, you are sending to somebody is being stored somewhere in Yahoo server if you are using Yahoo email. Though you can also store part of them on your phone too, but what is there permanently in the Yahoo server is there. And at the same time, the Gmail is a Google component. So the Google component has the server at which they store your data and every communication you make using the Gmail. So messages are stored by a host computer until accessed by a recipient. And for you to access it, you need to log in with your username and password, either through two-way authentication or otherwise. So email support text, graphics, sound, and even entire computer program can be shared using email. All right. Then it requires you to have a browser at least, or an email app. You can have Yahoo app, you can have G app, you can have multipurpose app. And then you need to have an account. Either it is the Yahoo account or Gmail account or Hotmail account and so on and so forth. Then you need to set up your account by the company that you choose. For example, this is my email. And in this email, you have yfzakaria@abu.edu.ng. This is how you pronounce it. We shall get to where we study the anatomy of an email. So for every email, you must have this pattern. It is a must, in which you have your username. In my case, my username here is yfzakaria. And this is, these are just my names. And this @ must be there. Every email address must have @. If this @ is not there, then that thing is not an email address. This is how you identify what is email address or not. Then you have immediately after the @ now the host of this email is ABU. ABU is the host of this email. Then you can see a kind of extension, .edu. It means this host is an educational organization. That's why this edu is there. .ng. It means this host is a Nigerian educational organization. So that's why ng is there. So you have a username, you have @ at the right of @ you have the host, you can have the type of institution, and you can have the geographical location. All right. So the standard naming rules, it must reflect the organization, the country, or establishment. And then you have some of this here, like .com for commercial, .edu for educational institution, .org for organization, .gov for government organization, .mil for military, .net for what? Organization directly involved in internet operations, .int international organization. Then you have the country code, usually 2 letters. NG for Nigeria, SA for Saudi Arabia, NO for Norway, GH for Ghana, and so on and so forth. All right. So getting started with email, you need to create an account. If you want an email for yourself, you need to choose which provider you want, Yahoo Mail or Gmail or Hotmail, and so on. Then you need to have username and password for you to log in. After you have logged into your email, you have options to compose, to reply, to forward, to attach files, to delete, and even to make some kind of organization settings. So these are some of the open email addresses. You have the Gmail, you have Hotmail, you have this Outlook, then you have the Soho, you have the Yahoo Mail, you have the iCloud, Hotmail, and so on and so forth. All right, so how can I compose the message? For you to compose a message in email, you need to click on new message button. I will show you briefly now, but let's have the new message or compose or new that you want to send the email to. Email, you can put the person's email under CC. Then you have the subject, where you enter the subject of the email. There is another one which is BC. So that BC is different from CC. By the time I get to the proper email, I'll show you that. Then you also have the body of the email. This is where you write your message. Quite a number of people, they write email without putting the subject. Learn to always put subject in every email you are sending. And do not enter your message in the subject. Subject is a simple, short description of what your body is all about. So some people will write their message under subject, and they leave the body blank. Take note of this. This is how a Yahoo Mail looks like. This is recipient. This is where you enter. Then CC, you can copy another person. Suppose you want to send a mail to your examination officer or to your HOD, and you are copying your examination officer. You put it here. Then you have the BCC. This one is also another copy. But the difference between BCC and CC is that if you put somebody here under CC and then you send to me, for instance, the person, if you put the person at BCC, the person that you copy under BCC will not know the person you send your email to. Will not know. We only receive your mail as if he is the only person you send the mail to. In fact, people used to do that. They can send a mail to 1,000 of people. Then you put those 1,000 email under BCC so that you will not know another person that the same email was sent to. And this is what is common in this hacking of a thing, where they send a mail to you as if that mail is private, but rather the mail is sent to thousands of people, except that they only put the emails under BCC. If they put the email under CC, all of you will know each other. You will know that, Kai, this email is sent to somebody again, and this one and this one. But this is what they do. And this is a typical email. This is the body. This is where you have the subject, where you write the title or the short description of your message. Then under this here is the body, where you have, this one is a signature. We are coming there very soon. So this is where you type your message and so on. So how do you now reply a message? When a message is sent to you, how do you reply? You click on reply and then you reply the message. You can also forward a message that you receive. You can forward it to another person. You can even make an attachment. You can attach your picture. You can attach your CV. You can attach a document to the email you are sending to somebody else. And these are the steps. The attachment must be stored on your phone or on your computer before you do it. And you can manage your email. Like you can delete, you can, move to spam and so on. And you can create a folder for a particular email. Anytime the email comes in, it will go to that folder. You can set the rule like that. All right? So, for example, if you want to create a folder, you can create a folder to organize them. I will show you how some folders are created. I mean, the created folders I have on my email, and then you see how they are used. So this is okay for you to have a time saving. Okay? Now look at the description here. All right? So the description here is saying what you can do with your email. You have the message, we covered this ground. This is a signature. The good thing about signature is I don't have to be typing this every now and then. Anytime I click on compose, this one will be there automatically. So that is what we call a signature. And there is a way through which we set that. Then you also have file attachment, where this is where you can attach a file. You can do a lot of formatting here, like bold, italics, color, everything. You can do them the way you do on Microsoft Word. So all these they are okay. For those of you sending your reg number, they are not necessary. So you may stop sending them, okay? All right, so we have this. This is what we call the and then you have some folder. This one is from my email, and I will show you where that is coming from. Okay. Then I have some questions for you, which you can go through at your leisure time. There are also some other questions here for you, which you can look at. All right. So now, I now want to, let me stop sharing my screen. So I want to show you a typical email account and some of these things, how you can do them on your own. Let me see if we have one here. Okay.
That's bad. No. And auntie.
Okay, so very good. Now let me now share my screen for you to see how that can be done in real time. Okay. Now you should be able to see my email option. So this is my Yahoo mail. All right. So what you find here is my Yahoo mail. So with this, if I want to compose a new message, what I will just do is to come to compose. Then this is where I write the email I'm sending it to. Then subject is where I put my subject. And this is the body. So subject can be today's mail or today email. This is subject. Supposing I'm sending this to Zachariah I'm sending this to Zachariah, for instance, at Gmail. Then this is where I can type, hi, good morning. So this is what I just composed. I can send it to him. If I want to make any attachment, this is where I will come. And I will choose from my computer to make an attachment. Like for instance, now I want to attach these templates and I just click on it. Then you will see it being wrote and then it is attached. As simple as that. You see? Boom. The attachment is there. I can also, display, this is my signature. By the time I click on compose, this one, it came on its own automatically because it is the signature. And I can do a lot of things here. I can bold this if I want. I just click and bold it. I can use hyperlinks. I can put some emoji, just like you do on your WhatsApp. Okay, good morning. I'm just laughing there. You put it for it. You can change the color. You can select whatever thing you want to do, and then you come to color, and then you change the color of the text. Okay, the color has changed. So you can do so many things. You can centralize, you can make it big, you can make it extra large, and so on and so forth. And then after you've done that, then you click on send. Boom. Then look at it here, sending is showing up here. Your message has been sent. That is all. And these are folders. Some are already created, while you can also create your own. These are some folders that are created for myself. Okay? So like for this one, this is a group that I am that we do a lot of things in statistics. Any email coming from, any email coming from listserv.ua.edu, any email coming from you, automatically it will be sent to this folder. So there is a way which you can set your mail like that. I don't have to bother. Any email that comes, say I know it is coming from this list rev, which is a group that I belong in, doing some things in statistics. All right. So you can also create some folders where you keep some things. Like these are some of the applications for PhD I did long time ago. These are some of the rejection letters that I got some times ago. Maybe research this one. Then GT Bank statement, you can find that there. University of Tattoo, you can find that here. So you can create a lot of folders and then you do some things, okay, on your own. So you can come back to your inbox. This is your inbox, all right? And this is for me. So these are unread, start, draft, sent, and so on and so forth. So this is basically what is email and how email works, all right? So I can stop sharing my screen. Now you have a little idea of what we call email and how we use email for the benefit of ourselves. And so this is the basic things that we need to talk about here. So this lesson, we have covered a lot of ground. We have looked at the internet as a whole. We have looked at the uses of internet in education and the disadvantages of using internet in education. We have spoken about the intranet. We have spoken about the extranet, and we got a little, introduction to how to use the email address. I think this is a good place for us to stop this morning. We continue with a physical class, which is going to